If you want to farm Nephilim Rifts or bounties on a different class and fast, then this video is probably for you. Here I will show you a whirlwind speed farming barbarian specifically for farming T16 and bounties. Hello Firzj here. There is no doubt that most of the classes cannot beat Monk's speed, but to versatile your farming experience you can try out speed farming barbarian fully geared with the Wrath of the Waste set who has over 400% movement speed. Please keep in mind that this build is not intended for high level pushing and aims only for tournament 16 up to 4 players. Alright, let's get started. For our skills we want to utilize as many speed bonus abilities as possible. For that we have our first skill, Sprint with the Rune Marathon. Pretty self-explanatory. It gives us 40% movement speed for 4 seconds and costs 20 fury. This ability must work at all times, so either put this skill on a macro or keep pressing it manually, but not too often as it may drain all your precious fury. One of our next skill is Ignore Pain with the Rune Bravado, which adds 40% more movement speed for 5 seconds. This ability also buffs our toughness by 50% and grants immunity to control impairing effects. To make this skill cooldown free, we will use Zodiac Ring in our cube slot. Moving next we have Battle Rage that works on its own. The rune for that skill is Ferocity, which grants 15% more movement speed and it lasts 2 minutes. Now it's time for our Wrath of Berserker skill. No matter which rune you choose, it grants 20% more speed, which is what exactly we need for this build. You can either run with Insanity rune, which adds 50% more damage, or with Striding Giant for 50% more damage reduction. Personally, if you struggle to survive, I recommend you sacrifice some speed and replace one of the rings with Band of Might. Next skill slot is purely optional. Here, if you have Band of Might ring, you can use Furious Charge with Dreadnought or any other related skill. Or it can be Warcry for extra armor, life or dodge chance, or it can be Rend with Bloodbath rune. But putting Rend on your panel is not actually required, since Ambo's Pride weapon from our cube applies Rend after each Whirlwind attack. Speaking of Whirlwind, this is our last and the most important damage dealer skill with the Wind Shear rune. This will allow us to regain fury with each attack and keep it maxed most of the times. Now for the passives. Unfortunately, barbarians do not have many passive skills which increase our movement speed, so we use as many offensive abilities as possible. Brawler for 20% damage increase with each encounter, Berserker Rage for 25% more damage at maximum fury, Boon of Bolkathos to reduce cooldown for Wrath of Berserker by 30%, and our survival ability Nerves of Steel. Again, if you are using Furious Charge and Band of Might ring, and if you don't miss its buff, then you can replace it to Pound of Flesh for extra movement speed per globe or Rampage for more damage. The choice is yours. Let's now talk about our gear, gems and soul shards. For this build to work properly, we will need 5 or 6 pieces of waste set rolled with cooldown reduction and no rest and rend skill whenever possible. Royal Grandeur or Zodiac Ring, Rachel Ring, Arm Guards, Squid Necklace and Lamentation. We'll talk about these later. Obviously my gear is far from perfect, so you can check this build in details on D3 Planner. The link is in the description. The next important set to refuel our fury and gain speed is Bolkathos. The rolls can vary, but look for cooldown reduction, life per fury spent and chance to fear on hit in the secondary for both of the weapons. This effect is important with the combination of Rachel's ring for an insane movement speed bonus, though it's really hard to find a perfect roll in it, especially for 5% fear chance and 60% movement speed bonus. If you use 5 waste pieces with the Royal Ring, then you can also equip Hexing Pants or Mantle of Channeling, but I personally recommend these pants as they keep your fury at maximum capacity and increase your output damage by 25%. As for our bracers, we use Arm Guards with the physical element as Rend deals physical damage. With these bracers, whenever you destroy an interactable object, you gain speed. If you don't want that, you can equip Nemesis or Mortix Brace instead for all Berserker runes. For our belt we have Lamentation that multiplies our rend damage. Remember that this ability is applied from Ambo's Pride. You can either equip it or put in cube slots, since we have another belt called Crown's Buff. It adds 25% more speed, but once you take a damage you lose this buff for 5 seconds. In order to avoid that I use Gizzard legendary gem in one of my rings to add an extra layer of defense and avoid losing all the buffs. This gem will also save Squeezed necklace buff, so it's a win-win. If you don't want to use Crown's belt, you can use Chilanic belt instead for 40% added run speed for 10 seconds. 2 other legendary gems will also be helpful to move even faster. Boon of the Holder for 30% movement speed and level 25 lightning gem for another 25% run speed. If you hate for some reason this annoying conduit lighting sound effect with every attack, then you can completely remove this last gem and put Taeguk instead. As for the soul shards, there are 2 shards that perfectly fit for this speed farming build: Essence of Anguish and Fragment of Destruction. With Essence of Anguish, best rolled with physical element. Every time you deal damage to an enemy you increase your cooldown reduction and movement speed by 2.5% up to 10 stacks. And with Fragment of Destruction shard, each time you kill a marked enemy you remove 1 second of cooldown from one of your skills, and each mark of death also increases your movement speed by 5% up to 10 stacks. Essence of Anguish can drop from Act 1 bosses and Fragment of Destruction from Act 3 bosses, or you can simply run the Darkening of Tristram event on Torment 16. I have a 1-minute guide about this event here. Now for our Paragon Points. All points go into maximum movement speed and the rest goes to strength. If you run this build without Band of Might and keep dying a lot, then you can add extra points to vitality, but not too much or you will lose some precious damage. To play this build properly, all you need is to endlessly spin with your rear wind and press all the buttons whenever they are ready, except for Warcry / Furious Charge and Sprint, as they can decrease Zodiac efficiency and Sprint can drain too much fury if you spam it for no reason. Picking up gold and globes, constantly attacking enemies and destroying everything on your way will buff your movement speed up to 500%, but honestly going beyond 400% for Barb is not justified, as in some cases Whirlwind plus Rend will not instantly kill the enemies anyway. Going beyond that point will also hurt your output damage. Now for the followers. Since it is a speed farming build, the choice is not really important and you can pick either Templar or Enchantress, but I personally prefer Enchantress as she gives you a small portion of cooldown reduction, elemental damage, extra armor and attack speed. Just don't forget to use an appropriate stats for a follower in strength or dex. Here you can equip any items, but for efficient speed farming you should use 3 Piece of Kind set for extra Greater Reef key drop, Nemesis bracers, Flavor of Time, Broken Crown for extra crafting gems of a certain type, Avarice Band, and not so important but better than nothing, Oculus Ring. Well, that's all for now. I hope this build guide was helpful and informative. If you still have some questions, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching and listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more content. Have a nice day and stay safe.